Welcome to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we dive deep and answer the ultimate question, how did you hack into tech sales? Each week, we bring you inspiring stories, proven strategies, and insider tips from top performers who've cracked the code to break into tech sales and thrive. Whether you're just starting out, making a career pivot, or ready to level up, this is your go-to space for actionable advice and real-world success stories. Let's crack the code together, because hacking into tech sales isn't just a dream, it's your next move. Now with your host, the founder of Tech Sales Funnels and the tech sales hacker himself, Davison Da Silva.
Welcome everyone to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast. This is Davison Da Silva, the tech sales hacker. Today I'm super excited. I have someone that I actually spoke on his podcast, and I'm going to let him talk a little bit more about his podcast during this interview. But one of my mentors, Irina, shout out to Irina. She's such a good heart and a great lady. Talking to her one time, and then she's like, you got to connect with Jose. You have to connect with Jose. I was like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And then we finally got, we clicked right away via LinkedIn on the chat. And I knew there was some chemistry already going on. And then we decided, okay, let's just get together. And we got together. I recorded in his podcast. Now he's in Tech Sales Funnels podcast. Welcome, Jose Rivera. How are you, man, today?
How's it going, bro? If this feels different, it's not so fun when the rabbit has the gun, huh? How's it going, bro?
I'm good. Super excited to have you here. So starting with your name, and like when I saw your name, I was like, he must be Latino. Jose Rivera, but he's also kind of Afro Latino. I was like, let's go. I'm a peanut butter myself here.
I love it. Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about that. Let's start from there.
Being Puerto Rican and Dominican is probably the most. It's like the most common Latino mix that you find, especially in New York. And it's so funny because Puerto Ricans stay talking trash about Dominicans. Dominicans stay talking trash about Puerto Ricans. Like as a kid, I would go. Like my mom would take me to a bodega with one of her brothers, and she would like go to pay for snacks or something, and he'd be like, put your wallet away. What do you think? I'm Puerto Rican? And then like on the other side, I go into my grandmother's house. She's Puerto Rican, and my uncles are there, and I might have like some tight clothes on, like some tight pants on. Yeah. Like, why are you dressed so Dominican today? So it's like, I've always been in conflict with that. And not to mention I'm also, like you said, an Afro Latino. So a lot of the times, amongst other Latinos who are more fair skinned, they don't realize that I'm Latino. Although I think with Dominicans and with Puerto Ricans specifically, I don't know if it's because they're my people. I don't know, but I think they always can tell that I'm Latino. Have like that Dominican phenotype, that like Puerto Rican phenotype, and so I love it. I love my culture. I love my people, and it's a big reason why I am as as I guess outspoken as I am.
No, yeah. So I have the same kind of a situation all the time. Even like when I'm filling up, job applications. How do I identify myself? Is that one race? Is it multiple races? Is it Latino? It's a African American? I have the hardest time in trying to figure that out. And they don't have an option for Brazilians, which I'm originally from Brazil. So it's really, really interesting. Latino background. So you live in New York right now? How long have you been?
I'm actually in Jersey. I just moved to Jersey, but I'm New York born and raised. So yeah, I've been in Jersey for about, I want to say like 2-3 months now, but it's a bit of an adjustment. I'm not originally even from like the 5 boroughs. I'm originally from upstate New York, like an hour and a half up. So but the past 5 years I've been living in the Bronx. My heart is in the Bronx. I love the Bronx. I'll drive around Brooklyn. I'll drive around Queens. I'll drive around Manhattan. I'm like, I still like, oh man, I get a little anxious. Like, oh man, this is I got to deal with this. And when I'm in the Bronx,
You know,
I'm home. I feel free. I feel like, listen, Bronx police, they don't even care. They just hood
yeah.
dudes with badges. If you don't go out of the way, they're not going to stop you. They don't, they don't
Nice,
care.
nice. I don't know a whole lot about New York. I've been there a few times
Mhm.
for Jersey area, just for work conferences and that kind of stuff. But I love the vibe. I love the city. Um, Growing up in Brazil, big cities like São Paulo is just New York is like it's pretty much the same. It's just crazy, crazy,
Yeah,
but good people, good diversity. What I love the most is the diversity. So let's talk a little bit about let's dive deep into your career a little bit. Like I want to answer one question, and then if we can answer this question, that would be great for the audience here because a lot of people listening to this right now, there are um, either trying to get into tech sales or they are in tech sales already. They're trying to ramp up their career. They're trying to do something different, build their personal brand, which you do extremely well. So we can dive into that. But how did you get into tech sales? Like, how in the
man.
world did you hack
I mean,
into tech sales? Yeah.
let me tell you, man. For when I got into tech sales originally, like I said, I haven't been in long. I've been in for about 2-3 years, right? But initially, I had. It's so funny because I actually was put on to tech sales by a podcast that I was watching. I know you probably heard of it. Tech is the New Black. Everyone's heard of Tech is the New Black, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So I was learning more about, just like black people in tech. Like I had no idea. I really didn't even know what I wanted to do. Like I just kept on seeing these episodes where this person's talking about their Q&A analyst. This person's talking about their programmer. A back-end programmer. This person's talking about their software sales. So I really just had to sit and be honest with myself and think like, what do I really want to do? What am I in the financial position to invest in right now?
Mm,
What is the thing that I believe I would do best at that, I could make a great salary at in 2-3 years? Um, and where would I fit in
mm,
the tech industry? Because I didn't even see the tech. I never went to college, so I didn't
mm.
see the tech industry as a option. Like prior
Okay.
to that, listen, I'll tell you right now, I'm 30 years old. I probably had 25 jobs. I had a job one time. I worked at Home Depot. I went in on a Monday, told them I'm going on my lunch break on Thursday, and never came back. I
You're
said
out.
I, had, I used to have multiple jobs at a time. And so I've been working since I was 12 years old. So,
Wow.
um, you know, when I've learned about tech sales, I initially signed up for Course Careers.
Oh yeah.
I did Course Careers, got the certificate. But yo, they didn't even put my last name on the certificate. When I got it, it just said Jose.
Oh really?
To
Okay.
this day, I have my Course
There's
Careers
so many
certificate.
Jose's though. So
It
many.
just said Jose, right? And um, so I got my certificate. I'm like, okay, it's cool or whatever. It's almost like I forgot about it. Like
Mm,
I did it, but I didn't really pursue jobs. Like months
okay.
went by,
How
and
long
I
was
didn't.
that? Like few months? The
Man, I
course
would say
career?
like, oh, how long did it take me to complete Course Careers?
Yeah.
Took me like 2 weeks.
Okay, okay. So
I
self
completed it really
self taught.
fast. Um, excuse me. Yes, it was good. I don't necessarily feel like it was necessary at all. Like I don't think it was necessary, but it was good to learn the jargon and things of
Mm,
that nature. Um, but yeah, so after that, I just kept on doing what I was doing. I had a moving company that I was operating at the time because after the pandemic, like 2020, I was my last on the books job. I was working for FedEx and
okay.
I was delivering packages. I was a beast, bro. I
Wow.
was literally doing 80 stops in 2 hours. My manager was getting pissed because it was like he was paying me $250 a day and I was done in 2 hours. So he was,
Wow.
yeah, he was tight because I'm like running, dropping off.
Wow.
learning, like I learned my routes like the back of my hand. So I was just able to do it fast. And, what happened was one day he ended up telling me, he's like, I ended up having this really, really bad anxiety attack just off of all the pressure of being a dad or whatever. I was in the back of my truck and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And the reason why I had that anxiety attack is because I was super sick. I had caught COVID and he wanted me to, he wanted me to continue delivering packages.
Oh, dang.
He's like,
Okay.
listen, 'cause he told me that when he hired me. He was like, I don't care about COVID. Like, you miss one day here, you're gone. Because he was a contractor. It was FedEx Ground. It wasn't
Oh, man.
Express or FedEx Freight. It was FedEx Ground at the time. So he's like, listen, these are my routes. If you don't show up, you're fired. That's it. So I went into work, high pressure. I'm sick as a dog, and I got like this crazy anxiety attack. I bought
Early dad, right? You say you were
Huh?
early dad, so you were worried about
early. I was an
being
early
dad,
dad.
being provider, losing job.
Exactly. So I drove the truck back, dropped it off, and I said, I'm never working for nobody ever again. And so I started my own moving business, and that had its own challenges. I created this moving business. I got contracts with U-Haul and what is it called, Budget, and I got these contracts with these companies. And so originally I was going out doing the jobs. Like I was going out like I could pack a truck like I'm a beast, bro, for real. Like I was because it was because of my background in terms of like I've always helped family members move or learning how to pack my truck in FedEx. It made it easier for me to transition into the moving industry because it's like I know how to pack a truck, so and then learning the little nuances of wrapping, making sure stuff is properly wrapped, learning how to tie things down. All that came later. I was really bad initially. But I was doing that. I was hustling. I was doing Uber Eats. I was a task rabbit. Like I learned how to like install what is it called?
Everything.
Listen, bro, I was doing anything to get to the bag. I learned how to most of my business was like installing TVs though, like mounting TVs. But um my actual business was the moving business though. And what the issue that I ran into with the moving business was in New York, it's seasonal. Once you hit the November, December, that's when it starts getting way too cold. People aren't moving.
Nobody wants to move. Yeah.
So check out. This is what I did. Right, I ended up moving my whole business to California. Like
Okay.
my whole business, my
Start
contracts
from scratch.
to California. I've never stepped foot in California, by the way, never in my life. But
Wow. Why California? What happened?
because the biggest issue that I was running into was at the time the woman that I was with, aside from the real reason is because the winter time, it was just too like
Oh,
no
it's just the weather.
so in California they don't have a winter time, so that's how I eliminated that issue, and also the other issue was that my daughter's mother at the time, she was a flight attendant. So a lot of the times I would have to take my kids on moving jobs with me, and it just became unprofessional. So I thought to myself, how do I make this work without me having to be physically present? Like I had to remove the option of me being available to do the job completely out of the equation. So that's when my moving company turned into a moving dispatch company. So what I was doing, because I already had the contracts, what I would do is I would just literally get the job, send out like I would it was crazy, bro. I was paying for these Craigslist ads for the jobs. Like I would pay for Craigslist ads, and I'd get like 80 people, 90 people hitting me up. Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the job for you. I'll do the job for you. And so like I was delegating the whole thing from New York. You got to get there on time.
California.
This and
Wow.
that. Listen, bro, that's when I learned the challenge of being a business owner and hiring contractors. versus having your own employees, which I mean, having your own employees comes with its own set of problems. But specifically when I was hiring those contractors, it was, yo, bro, I had somebody show up to the meeting. So they showed up to the moving job drunk, and the customers complaining like, yo, you guys sent me this guy, he's drunk. I've had guys 5 minutes before the job's about to start, I'm calling them, making sure they're on their way. They're not coming. I have to find another guy in 5 to 10 minutes. Like, yo, bro, I know you asked about that moving job. Somebody just bailed last minute. Do you still want it? And I had to convince them. This is where I like transitioning into sales was very easy because
I can see that.
I had to convince them to do the job without me being physically present and giving them cash. So they don't know if they're going to do the job and I'm going to say, screw you and not ever pay them. So like, I built up talk tracks for that, like to address that, so, but yeah, long story short, it ended up crashing and burning. It wasn't a sustainable business model because I didn't have oversight. I tried to hire guys to be managers, but they didn't feel the account, like there was no true accountability. There was no desire to work for somebody that it's like working for the Wizard of Oz. You never see the man behind the curtain. It's like, so they don't really recognize my authority.
So you did a bunch of stuff. You develop all those skills. I'm listening to you telling all the stories. I'm just listening like all transferable skills to sales, right? Customer service, cold calling people, outreaches, building trust, so you can transact. Sell.
But also to that point, though, I wasn't prior to everything I've already told you. I already had a background in sales. Like that's what made transitioning into sales very easy because I was a bank teller. I was a banker. I was an investment. I sold life insurance. I was a financial advisor. I sold furniture for Ashley's Furniture. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've sold physical products. I've sold, financial products, and that made it easy into transitioning and selling digital products.
Yeah. So how did you, on the very first job, how did you get that very first job? Was that like, did you find online? It was like a recommendation. How was the interview?
So my first tech sales job.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna love this one. So I was doing Glen Coco, which I wish we had a link for it because that's, Glen Coco is great for if you're an SDR or if you're a aspiring SDR and you're listening to this. Glen Coco is a really good way for you to get reps in. Like if I didn't have any tech sales background right now, I would definitely sign up for Glen Coco and go and record yourself failing, record yourself doing all that and posting it on LinkedIn. Like those people who are like, oh yeah, I'm trying to break into tech right now. I don't, no one's giving me a chance for a tech sales role, SDR role. It is very difficult if you don't know what people are looking for. It's incredibly difficult when you don't know what people are looking for. And so there's ways that you can leverage your likeness where you would get a role over someone else. I just recently heard of someone who's gotten a tech sales role with no tech sales background, but it's not an easy process. You definitely need the guidance from the right person, because if not, there's things that people who have been in tech and specifically in tech sales know that when you're green, you just don't know, and so that was my case. So that's what I was doing. I was on Glen Coco. I was cold calling people, and I really didn't have any guidance other than YouTube videos or whatever. And so I did that for a while, and I got I think it was like 9 months to a year of me doing that with Glen Coco, where I don't know what happened, but it like sparked it in LinkedIn's recruiting algorithm, like their system, like the LinkedIn recruiters started hitting me up after I hit that like 9 months to 1 year, I think it was like a year. Like after I hit that year mark, that's when recruiters started hitting me up. Like, and I literally I ended up getting like, I ended up having like in 2 months, I probably did like 25 interviews.
What? So hold on.
Yeah, because they were
So
just flooding in. It was like a hiring season, so they just
it
started
was
flooding.
it's crazy. So naturally, just because you were LinkedIn, because you had about a year of experience as an SDR, all those people were just kind of chasing you to
Exactly.
interview
Yeah,
recruiters.
that's
Wow.
the secret sauce. That right there is the thing that like I don't know. I don't know if recruiters would have reached out to me if my LinkedIn didn't say that I had a year's
Mm.
experience already.
Mm. Did you do
But that
anything else on LinkedIn? Did you like?
I
Because I know you're very.
wasn't even
Okay.
posting nothing. I didn't. I really didn't have anything that I'd never really used LinkedIn.
Interesting.
I looked at
High
it as a resume.
demand.
Like
High
people still.
demand. And that was 2000. So it was the peak of more towards the end of COVID, 2024, and that's when you got. That's when you transitioned then from
See,
local.
well, I I I originally got it in like 2022, 2023. Um,
Yeah.
and the organization that I was with, it's just this is just how how I could be. So I was in there for I got in, I guess technically, yeah, 2024 actually is when I actually got hired as for my first SDR role. Excuse me. Um, 2024 was when I first got hired for my first SDR role. But that's the crazy part, Davidson. What happened was I was going into these interviews not
Mm.
knowing how to interview for an SDR role.
Mm.
I just kept on like I kept on trying to be too polished, trying to. I treated it as if I was applying for a Chase Bank. Like when I went to apply for Chase
Interesting.
Bank, and being super
Interesting.
polished, not being myself. So I would make it to the second round. I would make it to the third round, and then the recruiters would disappear, and I wouldn't get selected final. But
Mm.
this is what happened.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Tell me what changed.
This is the thing that changed everything.
Because that's the gold nugget here right now.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened was I ended up getting um having a recruiter reach out to me, and they were looking to hire, I think it was like 12 SDRs.
Mm. Like a team, a whole
So
team.
yeah, so like they were definitely in expansion mode. They were looking to hire 12 SDRs. So he invited me into the office of the actual company to interview with
Mm.
and to do 4 rounds of interviews in that one day with
Same day.
another 20 different people who were applying for the SDR role.
All together.
So
So it's like a group interview.
it was but no, but we didn't all get interviewed together. Like
Okay.
those, everyone had their time with different managers,
I
and
see.
that's how they selected. Davison, I was literally the last person chosen. The
Yeah.
last person. And then I kind of like pressed my manager on. I'm
I'm
like, yo,
excited about that. I was like,
I was like, I kind of got a chip on my shoulder. Like I feel like I'm the last guy chosen. I'm the last.
You drafted last.
What? He's like, no. He's like, to be honest with you, you were actually one of the first ones that we knew we wanted for sure. And but y'all chose me last though. So he's like, but keep that same attitude. Keep that same attitude, right? And so
Man.
then I got into the company that I got with. It was called Accessibility. They sold and they still do. They sell a widget, accessibility tool. So pretty much, it's like one line of code. It's for marketing people who are marketers who like that's what they do. They're marketing agencies, um, and they sell websites and they say, oh yeah, we'll build you a website. I was selling on an SMB level,
Mm.
so it was relatively easy. When you sell an SMB, I don't know if that's still the case, but it's very easy to get the decision maker on the phone because a lot of the time the person's still,
True.
it's 0 to 25 employees. Like there's a chance that you're going to get them on the phone. And so um, I did very well there. I stayed there for about 5 months. I was killing it. Like I think they were very good about the team that they put me on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just able to learn and grow. And I was a hustler, bro. I was literally first one in, last one leave mentality. I was absorbing everything, listening to all the cold calls. Oh, I was a sponge. I would literally do. I would be there. Everyone else got into the office around 9. I'd be there from like 6, 7. Got my push-ups done, and you see people start trickling in around 7:30, and I was always try to be the first one there, last one to leave, and just really
Nice.
learn the process. And I think that was really good for me because I what I learned when I was there is that sales, like cold calling and software sales, was it was kind of in the space where it was evolving.
Mm.
At that time period where like the old stuff didn't work. And this is one thing that I want the viewers, people who are trying to get into software sales now, tech sales, it's constantly changing. What worked yesterday may not work today, may not work tomorrow, you know, and that was the case. And so I had learned the thing that I learned very early on there was pattern interrupt, like pattern
Mm.
disrupt, you know, and the how important that first 5 to 10 seconds is. Like
Mm.
the most important question you're going to answer on a cold call is, "Hey, how are you doing?" You know, like even that matters. Every single second matters, you know, and that was the thing that I learned because opposed to me, and I had a team captain who was a beast. Like he showed me really quick. He's like, "This is how I do it," and he was a beast. Like he was killing it.
Right.
Every single month he was surpassing quota, and so I'm like, I'm gonna just keep on following him what he was doing,
Of course.
and I learned what he was doing, and what he was doing was pretty much he would say, um, when he got the person on the phone, he said, "Hey, how's it going? I'm interested in learning more about your services. Would you be able to tell me? Do you guys do websites?" And then they say, "Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Do you make them? Dang. Do you make them ADA compliant?" And it was like, "Yeah, we can." And then that's how he would unravel little by little, just
Uh,
like
discovery.
that.
Yeah.
I also learned because technically I wasn't selling anything because it's not something that they had to pay for. It was more of a partnership model because it wasn't like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to sell you this tool, give me your money." It was more or less, "Hey, listen, I have this tool that you can put on your website for free. You get a free license. You put it on your main website, and every time that you're selling a website to one of your clients, you can also put this as an additional add-on,
Mm.
and you make money and we make money." So it's different from like, "I'm selling you something, give me your money, I'm going to give you something."
Right. It's an
It's
interesting module, right? Yeah.
we're making money together, you know.
Nice.
And so yeah, I did that. I was killing it, bro. My numbers, like there were the people on my team, including my team captain. Shout out my bro Sean. I'm sorry, bro. I gotta let them know, including my team captain. No one was hitting quota, but I was. Like I was
Uh,
hitting quota. I was crushing it. Um,
you just know the whole world here, man. Come on.
it's all good. That's
He's a,
that's the, that's the bro. That's the
he's all
bro.
good. That sells. That sells, man. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down.
Yeah, and so I was crushing it. And so like while I was there, I had a manager who told me, he was like, "Listen, and this is another thing I want to stress for all of y'all who are trying to get into tech sales, all of you guys who are in tech sales, all whatever, never stop interviewing." That's what he told me. He said,
Mm,
"Never. Whatever you do, don't ever stop interviewing.
it's a
I don't
good
care
advice.
how it's great advice, right?" He's
Yeah,
like, "I don't
yeah.
care how long you've been with the organization, never stop." And I don't care how much you love the product. I don't care how much you love the team. I don't care how much you love the culture. That's what he pretty much told me. Because the one thing they won't tell you about tech sales that, I mean, you'll learn if you look into the Reddit forums, or but when you're being sold the dream of tech sales, the one thing that they don't tell you is that you could have a job today and tomorrow you're laid off.
Things can change very fast.
Things,
Yeah.
things can change very fast. And there are ways, there are ways to create leverage where your organization is less likely to let you go. And
Mm.
a lot of tech professionals will not tell you, but I'm going to tell you later
Tell us
on.
more. Yeah, I want to hear more about the leverage. So
I mean,
before you go there, that's, by the way, one of the best advices you can ever have in tech sales. You never know what's going to happen in the next quarter, the next year. The day you get your job is the day that you start not looking for another job, but you start networking. You never stop networking, because sometimes we get really busy in our own job, and then we forget to network, to interview. So I love that, man. This is probably like one of the best advices here. Now I want to hear the leverage, because that's important as well. Because a lot of people, they're like, hey, I want to stay, I want to continue growing this organization, but I don't know what to do. I'm afraid. What should I do?
so in terms of building leverage in a tech sales position, especially if if you've been in tech sales for a while, or you're new to it, either way, it doesn't matter. Um, but a lot of the times, what you'll find amongst me and Davison are truly exceptions within this, right? Because we have personal brands. A lot of tech sales people that
Mm,
you might run into won't have a personal brand, and that's where they're leaving themselves
I
vulnerable.
see. That's where the leverage.
That now you understand the leverage.
Yeah,
When
yeah, yeah.
when you have a personal brand, um, what you're doing is you're attaching your brand to your organization's brand. And so, and I mean, don't be corny about it. Like, I can't stand it. If every single post that you do is about your organization
The
and
product.
what and their product, and
The
nobody
sell.
cares, nobody wants to see it.
It's
I'm gonna be
true.
the first. No one says this. Nobody cares. I have people in my organization, I've had people in my previous organizations who all they do is post about the product. The only people who are liking those posts are the ones who work there. You're not It's not even your ICP who's liking those posts. Nobody cares. No one cares about numbers. When people see numbers in your LinkedIn post, it's like, ugh. You have to hide education behind entertainment at times.
Ooh, that. So we're
I know
halfway
that
now.
was a lot, bro. I'm
You have
sorry.
yeah, I know you have. Man, how can I say this? Now we're getting to the meat here, and I want to pick your brain here really, and dive like 2 3 layers down. I see a couple of books behind you, and I see one that's called the .com Secret, which I have right there.
Yeah,
Same book. Now I want you to talk a little bit more about that, man, because one of the things that I see in tech sales, a lot of people, they talk about, you gotta build your executive presence, you gotta build your um, you know personal brand. But a lot of organizations, a lot of companies, they don't know what the heck they're asking. They don't know how to train their reps on how to do it. They just know that it's important, right? How
yeah.
Now you do both, and you do both really well. So you excelling in your current job, but also you're doing extremely well. You have your own podcast and YouTube channel, all those things. Like, teach people now. I mean, do your best advices to how can people do both? How can people be like Jose Rivera and have that leverage? Because if anything happens, it will be easier to find a job. If anything, if you jump on a call with a client, they'll trust you more, like and trust you more than the other rep, because you have your personal brand, right? It makes a huge difference, and people People think it's just about being an influencer. Sometimes people think it's about being famous. There's nothing to do with that. It's about being you. And people buy you. They don't buy a lot of times. They don't buy the product.
Well, what I'll say is this: tech sales, in full transparency, is harder today than has ever been. I don't know about the on the SMB side because, like I said, there's levels to tech sales. You have small to medium sized businesses, then you have mid market, and then you have enterprise. I sell into enterprise. I'm speaking to brands like PepsiCo, Hershey's. Like these are the brands that I'm speaking to, and so. But even on the mid-market level, the reason why tech sales is so challenging nowadays is because email deliverability rates. There's this the same way you have tools to find people's email, they have tools to block your email. You know, the connection rates are low. So you might like my connection rate, I average like a 1.8 connection rate sometimes. Like that's sometimes 2.6 connection rate. That's literally I'm calling 100 people to potentially get 2 people on the phone.
Maybe, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right? And so those before like this social media era in the world of tech sales, those were the 2 avenues in which you go to try to win. You know, those were the 2 places that you go. You use the phone, you use the email. They still are, but you have to be way more strategic about it. And there's an additional channel that you can use, which is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the ultimate outreach machine if you know how to use it properly, right? There's certain things that you like. I'm building my presence on LinkedIn. You're building your presence on LinkedIn. I study the big dogs, bro. I don't, you know, I don't use LinkedIn the way I would use Instagram, the way people use Instagram. It's not the same platform, you know. It's not a resume site, so it's not what people think it is. It's not that anymore. It is a social media platform, but you don't use Instagram, you don't use LinkedIn the way you use Instagram or TikTok, right? You can be incredibly strategic with it. Incredibly strategic with it. For example, I'll give you a prime example. Let's say I have a ICP who I've been reaching out to. Every time I call them, it goes to voicemail. It goes to voicemail. I've emailed them. The emails are getting opened, but they never, or maybe I've emailed them and the emails have bounced. Every email has bounced. But they're on LinkedIn and they post probably once every 2 months, probably once a month, or whatever the case is. There's a strategy that I've learned that's almost foolproof.
Ooh, tell us more.
So you can, I call it my ping-pong strategy. What you do is, and it's multi-channel, right? But what you do is before you ask a prospect on LinkedIn for their time at all, don't ask them for their time at all. You offer them so much value that they want to spend time with you, right? And what I mean by this is when they post or if they have a post that's 2 weeks old, comment on it, but don't say, oh, I like this so much. Say, oh, I love this. And what I really loved about it is this and this and blah, 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 blah. Send a paragraph, a whole bunch, and then react to every single comment on the thing. You comments that aren't, don't just react to your comment. Don't just react to the post. React to every single comment, right? And, then after that, then you message them. Say, hey, listen, I see you're in this industry. I'm also in this industry. I'd love for us to have a one-on-one. I'd love for us to learn, I would love to learn more about what you got going on. I'm just looking to connect with someone, I'm looking to connect. And from there, they might they might ignore it, or they might respond, or whatever the case is. But at least now you have an anchor. That message now becomes an anchor, because now when you call them, you say, "Hey, what's up? This is Jose from LinkedIn. I loved your post, this and blah, blah, blah. I sent you a message, not sure if you saw it or not. Either way, listen, whenever you get a chance, let's talk." That's it. Don't try to sell them anything yet. Just be there. Just people buy from their friends. That's just the truth of it. People buy from people that the buying process is one that requires trust to be built, especially in consultative selling. Like, I know people throw that term around, but with sales, if you're selling something to someone that you know is not good for them, you're not a salesperson, you're a con artist. If you're selling something to someone that you know is good for them, and it's not even sales. Like, you just educate them. If they want it, they want it. If they don't want it, they don't want it. That's, you can't allow yourself to lose sleep at night. You can't, because sometimes you might be with an organization that has a bad product market fit. They just don't have a good product. But don't worry about that. If you haven't broken in tech sales yet, just get in. Figure the rest out later,
Getting tech sales, working your personal brand, right? Because if you reach out to people, and if you're not present, if you're not there, who they're gonna reply to, right? Who they're gonna answer to? And I'm pretty sure your reply rate go much higher just because you're active, you're putting value out there. You're talking about your podcast, the events that you just attended, or something you just learned. All the stuff adds up. Like, if they scan 5 minutes your profile, the trust level goes up, right?
I encourage anyone who's watching this podcast to take a look and really scan my LinkedIn when you get a moment. Like, when you get a moment, just take a look and really scan it. And what you will find is I make sure that I always look busy. Because if in the prospect's mind, they think that you're someone who's always busy, they're excited that you're spending the time on them, reaching out to them. Send a voice note. Forget, you know what I mean? Like, send a voice note. Say, "Hey, listen, I'm looking to make more friends within the industry. I see that you work here, this and blah, blah, blah. I work there." Send a voice note. If you are not creative, don't get into tech sales. This is a space where you must be creative. Just as creative as a marketeer, just as creative as any other art or any other artist. You have to look at software sales as an art. You can't allow rejection to affect you, because the rejection is just data. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't work. You learn, okay, you get to refine your skills. You literally become a chiseled, better version of yourself with the rejection. So that's very important. And these tips that I'm sharing are things that I've learned through rejection and trial and error. And that's just a part of the game,
I love it, man. This is good. We're going on 40 minutes here already, which is great. And there's a lot of information. Like, so if you haven't listened to the whole podcast, go to the beginning. Jose talks a little bit more about all the things that he did, all the way to tech sales, and then really good advice in how to stand out in tech sales. Now I want to hear probably, like, I wouldn't say the closing, but your biggest, the biggest piece of advice he received. I was looking for something. I was interviewed. I was being, tested the market, right? Now, if you could go back in time, Jose, like, what would you change when it comes to what you do now in tech sales? And any final advice here for people who wants to succeed in tech sales?
I don't know if I would change anything. Like, it's all a learning process. I think when you get to a place where you've broken into tech sales, you've been with your organization for a specific amount of time, let's say 6 months to a year, and you feel as if you have earned the right for the next position, like when you're ready to go account executive, customer success manager. My biggest piece of advice is do not become a career SDR. That's my biggest piece of advice. When you know you're ready and you can prove that you're ready and you genuinely feel it, apply for those AE roles, apply for those other roles, because just like the AE role, just like the CSM role, it's I mean they're similar to the SDR role in the sense of it's sales. You just got to prove that you could do the job. And the way that you prove that you can do the job is by doing doing things that other people are unwilling to do.
I
That's
love it. Yeah, it's honestly like these days it doesn't take much. Like a lot of times people just kind of just go to work to go to work, you get a paycheck. If you're doing something extra, like you said, you come early and you leave last, you're gonna stand out. You're gonna just put the work and have a growth mindset and always be learning because tech sales move fast. And if you don't catch up, you're gonna stay behind. That was awesome, man. Like we can go so many directions here. Like we don't even talk about your podcast. We didn't talk about so. How can people find out about you? How do they if they follow you, what they're gonna be learning? I know you have an amazing LinkedIn profile. You can help people build their personal brand. You can do so many things. Tell us a little bit more
absolutely.
about that.
Absolutely. And I actually do help people build their personal brands behind the scenes. I haven't like opened up a link or nothing yet for anyone to like, because it can become overwhelming. I like to, focus on one project at a time. But you can absolutely follow me on LinkedIn. I have the most generic Latino name that you'll ever find. It's Jose Rivera. It's like my name is Joe Smith. So
Yeah.
uh, if you search up Jose Rivera and Virtual Cafe podcast after it, definitely should pop up. And yeah, you can absolutely contact me through there. You can email me, Jose Rivera OTM at gmail.com. Out the mud. OTM stands for Out the Mud. It's my newsletter.
Oh,
I needed a new email for my newsletter, so that's why I made it that. And
nice.
yeah, I have like you said, I have a podcast where I interview a whole bunch of different professionals, and let me tell you, they give a lot of tidbits. Like I've learned a lot myself from my own podcast about how different industries work. You get to see the behind the scenes. So yeah, that's how you would get in contact with me, and that's what you could expect is like growth hacks and self growth hacks and things of that nature.
I love your podcast. I always see the posts you make on LinkedIn. Very authentic. Follow Jose. He has so much to teach you to in tech sales, outside of tech sales, building personal brand, keeping balance between both. And I appreciate you joining here today. We're definitely gonna continue this conversation, man. It was we can go hours. We can go for hours and hours here.
We
But
could do a
so
part two. I'll come back for part two.
let's do part two. And then we're gonna dive more into your podcast, into personal branding. Because I think a lot of tech sellers they want to do the same. They just don't know
Mhm.
how to start. They just don't know
Yeah,
where to go. And I think like you have kind of mastered that. Of course, learning as you
I
go,
don't know.
right?
If master's a strong word, but I'm getting there. But that's a strong word.
Well, it's let's just say that you're in the top 1%, man, because a lot of people want to do it. They don't.
Uh-huh.
The 9% they want to do it. They're not doing anything about it. The other nine, they're just kind of early stages. You're definitely doing a good job, man. So
I
pat yourself
appreciate
on
it.
the back. Keep it up. Everyone follow Jose Rivera. Thanks so much for joining today. That was an amazing interview, amazing podcast. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tech Sales Funnels podcast, where we crack the code and uncover the strategies to break into tech sales. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to hack their way into this exciting career. Remember, hacking into tech sales isn't just a goal, it's a mission. Let's keep hacking, learning, and winning together. Catch you next time.